Hey, fellow traders, this is Austin. It's April 21st. Happens to be 1:16 Eastern right now, according to my Verizon wireless time. Quite an eventful morning and quite an eventful week. I didn't even intend to chronicle this week, but here we did, and we'll talk about how it turned out. I got all the stats and numbers and math for you. People like that kind of stuff. Um, but operational should have been over with long before this morning. I was short here, and then I was long here, and then I was short here, and so this resulted in a slight draw. This was a slight draw. This was not. I had about $500, just shy of $500 unrealized here. Something like it was an odd number, 462.50 or whatever, and I was hoping to close out for 500 or better. It looked like it was headed 90% probable to the 233, and I'm dealing with one of my dogs. She's had health issues for years. I've spoken of this before, and at this point in time, her health issues are such that her time is very short, very limited, and within weeks or even possibly days, I have to deal with saying goodbye to one of my dear pets. So I'm tending to her, keeping one eye on the markets. I'm in the same room, waiting, trying to close this out for plus 500 or even 400. And of course, it did the usual V-turn. The algos kicked in, the back chop. They took off by the time I could leave one side of the room and come to the other and try to manage this trade. It was back in my face. And so I ended up with a very paltry gain there, and then shorted again, back chopped out, and then at that point in time, I had I was back at par, or a slight drawdown, and then I managed to get short here, and then I added to that short here. I actually had a dual position on, no risk at all, and in that case, it took no heat. I don't know what went on here. The market's just tipped over and took off a little bit, and I actually stuck in a order to close and a sell order to close. It did close and it slipped coming out, which ended up with some oddball numbers. So Fridays are an adventurous session these days. Look at the numbers because that's what everyone likes. So here was the week. I'll run it through with you. This is the week of April 17th to the 21st. This is real money, by the way. It's actual money. And the total net gain, this is before commissions, is 1287. I'm going to think commission costs are somewhere around 100 to not quite $200. So this is a 1100 plus net gain after commissions, to the best of my knowledge. And then what else we got here? Total number of trades 54. Well, that's not really accurate because a lot of those were staggered entries. It'd be one contract and one contract, or in the final case today, 1 and 2. So don't mind this. This and also that affects this here because some of those staged entries, inadvertently, half of them would come out at a loss, and then half of them win, and they'd be a wash. In other words, if I short one contract at a higher level than the second one, and then they both come out at par, the second one lost $50, the first one gained $50. There was no gain or loss, but that reflects here. And so this number is false. This number is false. This number is false. This is not. That's the average trade, what it yielded. The average. These are the important parts. The average winning trade was just 3 index points, and the average losing trade was about 1 point or 5 ticks. Okay, so my average loss is 5 ticks, and mind you, I use 4 to 6 tick stop. So these are pretty directional, and this is important here. The ratio win to loss. Largest winning trade was 475. That was actually today. And then the largest loss was minus 150, and that also was on a 2 contract full stop, 6 ticks, 2 contracts, Full stop. So these are, and you could say this number is not actually accurate either now that I think about it, because as we discussed before, some of the trades that are showing as losses or as trades aren't actual, but it's close enough. In other words, every time I take a trade, it makes $20 on average net, and that's after all the stop outs and so on and so forth, and the commissions too and whatever. So that's the week. Here's another visual. This is where we started on Monday. Remember, there were no signals, so nothing happened. And then Tuesday, slight gains. Wednesday, slight gains. Thursday, just happened to have a position run away. Although I will say this was the toughest day to trade because it was so choppy in the end. And then these are the results. Nothing done, and then green, and there we go. So that's trading the CM scalper mode. And if you're doing that right now, that's great. And if you're not doing that right now, why not? All right. And I've had people say, well, we checked out your prices on your website, and that seems excessive, and that seems high, and that seems expensive, and that seems fill in the blank. And my answer in that case is, well, prices are relative. The education I'm teaching everyone how to do this who wants to learn how to do this. All right. And I'm not saying every week or even any week is going to end this way, but some will. Some will be better and some will be worse. What is that worth to you? What's that worth to somebody who cannot do this right now? You just doesn't have the knowledge and the skill set. Is it worthless to them, or is it priceless? And so I value my time about where I said I did, and that's the way it is. Check it out on the site if you want to learn how to write your own paychecks, just like I have here all week with no losses. I'll be happy to show you exactly how it's done. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how it's done and include you in the process. And that will be our conversation for this week. That'll be the topic of our conversation for this weekend. Hope this helps. Look forward to seeing you in that video. Don't miss it. Have a great one. Best trading wishes.